Putting your hands together, head bowed in reverence, shoulders even, relaxed body. अखण्डमण्डलाकारम् व्याप्तं येन चराचरम् तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्रीविद्या शिववामभागनिलया ह्रीङ्कारमन्त्रोज्ज्वला श्रीचक्राङ्कित बिन्दुमध्यवसती श्रीमत् सभानायिका श्रीमत् षण्मुख विघ्नराजजननी श्रीमत् जगन्मोहिनी मीनाक्षीं प्रणतोऽस्मि सन्ततमहं कारुण्यवारानिधिम्। All glories to the Divine Mother. All glories to my Swami, who opened my perception to the presence of the Divine Mother. Take a moment to settle down. We will start off by establishing ourselves into silence. Let your mind bring to the forefront whatever it is that it's dwelling upon. Allow yourself, allow your mind to just present to you whatever it is that it's dwelling upon. Allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you're feeling. Anxious, allow yourself to feel it. Narayani, Narayani, Narayani. If you read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, you will see that he was truly an illiterate person. He didn't study the Vedas, nor was he very logical. His brother, who was working at the Dakshineshwar Kali temple, passed away, so he had to take on the responsibilities. When he arrived at the Kali temple, he started worshipping. And then he started thinking to himself, asking the Vigraha, are you for real? Everyone talks about you as the blissful mother. Are you real? I want to know whether you're real. I don't know that you're real, but I want to know whether you're real. I would like to know. This one thought that I don't know and I want to know consumed him completely. The only thing he could think of was, Mother, tell me, are you real? If you're real, show me your form. Is there anything behind this Vigraha that I keep worshipping? I want to know. He didn't look for a guru. He didn't look for a book. He didn't look for the Shastras. He didn't go ask people. He conversed directly with the idol of the Divine Mother, the Vigraha of the Divine Mother that he was worshipping. Are you real? He said to the mother, all these learned people talk about this absolute Brahman. They talk about Shakti, they talk about Shiva. I don't know any of this, because at a very tender age, very young age, he had come to the temple. So his default state was, I don't know, Mother, I want to know. Neither had he read the Vedas, neither had he done any kind of studies. He would just sit there in front of the Vigraha, weeping bitterly. Mother, I want to know, are you real? It's very important to understand his default. He didn't say, I know you're real. Everyone talks about it, now I want to see your form. He said, I don't know. Because whatever we have not experienced, we don't know. But the logical mind in us makes us think, I know. And that I know is Maya. That yes, I know. I know Mother exists. Some people see her, some people don't. That I know is the Badha, is the avidya, is the ignorance. So he started off with that default, that I don't know whether you're real. I have not seen you. I only see your Vigraha. Tell me, are you real? And with that thought, it's like a snowball effect. That thought over and over and over and over again consumed him completely. No other thought could even dare to appear on the sky of his mind, because his entire energy was directed towards one thought. Not just once, nirantar, constantly he would just be in that one thought. He would just be calling out, Ma, Ma, Ma. That's all he did. He didn't know any mantras. He didn't do any of that. He just kept talking to her, saying, why don't you show your form to me? Why don't you show your form to me? Are you real? Are you real? Mother, show it to me. And one day, when the thought built to that intensity that he couldn't even think of his own bodily functions, his own existence, that thought consumed him like he forgot his entire existence. Then there was an attendant, a family member, who was taking care of him, giving him food in his mouth, because that one thought consumed him. And one day, because he couldn't live, because the only thought he was living for was, Mother, are you real? And when he took Mother's sword and was about to chop his head off, Mother appeared. So that's the power of thought. That's the power of the mind. So that is what will be the topic of our discussion in Tripura Rahasya today. But the reason I narrated this story is to say that there are two paths. Because we are all intellectual, logical people, we need proper, clear definitions of everything. Hence, I'm saying there are two paths. Ideally, there is only one path, and the path leads to the divine. But anyway, for the intellectual discussion, to satisfy the intellectual thirst that's in us, there are two paths. One is the path of knowledge. If you think you're a high intellectual person, a very logical person, I dare you, travel this journey. Travel the path of knowledge. Understand what you are, what you're not. Have the courage to drop what you're not. Okay, which is what we are doing. We are going through this path of knowledge. We're trying to understand these things that are being explained in Tripura Rahasya. But the other path is the path of devotion. The reason I narrated Ramakrishna Paramahansa's story was to show the power of devotion. All he did was hold on to her feet. He would say to her, Mother, these learned Brahmins, these learned scholars talk about Vedantic aspects. They talk about this absolute Brahman. They talk about this absolute reality. I don't understand any of that, Mother. Won't you teach that to me? Mother revealed all the secrets to him. She didn't say, go to the library, get some books, go on Kindle, get some books, go to this guru, listen to this discourses, go to this satsang, listen to Tripura Rahasya. None of that. Mother intuitively revealed it all to him. That's the glory of devotion. Like Swami was saying in his video yesterday, if you seek the mother for devotion, if you seek the mother for her refuge, you think Rajeshwari, you think mother, who is Satchit Ananda Swarup, will not give you knowledge. Of course she will. So Jnana and Bhakti, really they are one and the same. Highest of knowledge is what Ramakrishna Paramahansa said, I don't know anything. My mother expresses through me. My mother speaks through me. It is not my knowledge. I'll tell you the secrets of secret. It is not my knowledge. It is all mother's glory. Ram Prasad Sen, in his poems, he writes, you are going around reading books, you're going around listening to discourses. You think you're very intellectual. I'm going to reveal to you the secrets of secrets. Just chant Kali, 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 and everything, the entire library exists within you. This is the secrets of secrets. Do I have to tell you further more? Ram Prasad Sen says, do I need to tell you any further? All these aspects, I think the poem is called You Cannot Know Kali. You cannot know the mother. Just lovingly, that loving surrender unto her reveals the entire library to you. And the highest of knowledge is, mother alone is, she alone expresses. Her expression is my words, my talks, my walk, my life is all her expression. Nothing is mine. Everything is yours. That's the highest of knowledge. And she reveals that. She makes you truly know it. One level of knowing is, oh yeah, I read Tripura Rahasya. I know Tripura Rahasya. The other level is, you won't even be able to say, I know. Have you read Tripura Rahasya? Tears will come into your eyes and say, mother alone is. Because this knowledge that we think we know, take a step back. Take a step back. Mother alone is. So the one who truly knows Tripura Rahasya will not be able to say, I know. Because I know is the seed of Maya. So continuing on in Tripura Rahasya, we were seeing how Parshuramji Maharaj went to Dattatreya and said, listen, all these things you're telling me about, the Drik Drishya Vivek, I don't understand any of this. So Dattatreya Ji Maharaj explained the entire Drik Drishya Vivek. The one who is perceiving, the perceiver, and the perceived. He said the perceiver himself is the perceived. It's the energy, it's the power or the light of the perceiver that flows into everything that is being perceived. And if you remember from last time, we went through the senses being the perceived and the senses being the perceiver and the world being the perceived. The world is being perceived by the senses being the perceiver. Then if we go further back, we see that the senses are the perceived and the mind is the perceiver. If we go further back, we see the mind is perceived by the Atman or the soul. The soul, the light of the soul flows into the mind, the senses, and the world. And the entire world, the senses, the mind, everything is nothing but the light of the perceiver. All this might make no sense today. But if you hold on to the feet of the mother, if you truly seek her refuge, all of this will be revealed to you in a moment. So this is how he explained how the perceiver is your Atman. Now, for example, if you consider a room which has only one opening, a circular opening, everything else is dark. There are murals on the wall. There's a mural on the wall. And then there is, through this circular opening, light is coming onto the surface of a mirror. And from the mirror, the light is getting reflected on the wall. A person inside will look at the wall and say, oh my God, look at this beautiful wall. Look at this mural. There is some red color, there is some orange, there is some texture to it. The person doesn't want to turn around and look at the mirror that's shining the light. He is so involved in the mural. He says, wow, look at this mural. Oh, I don't like this color in this. Just totally engrossed in the mirror. See, it is the light coming from that circular opening, falling into the mirror, and then reflecting on the wall. That light has that person captivated on that wall. He doesn't even want to turn around and see, what is this coming? Where is this light coming from? He's so engrossed in the mural. That is the Shakti of Paramatma called avidya or ignorance. Ignorance is that power of Paramatma that makes you completely engrossed in the mural. You don't even know there is something else behind it. So that world that we perceive is that wall. Beautiful valleys, mountains. Oh, I want to go here on vacation. I want to go there on vacation. I want to go to this place for pilgrimage. I want to go to that place for pilgrimage. Keep roaming. It is only when you seek the refuge. It is only when Nishkam Bhakti and you say, Mother, I'm done roaming about. Reveal to me thy presence. That's when you realize, wait a second. This mural is being shown by the light reflected from this mirror. Then you see, oh, I see, the mirror is actually shining the light on the mural. And then slowly, your attention is now diverted from the world to the mirror. And then you're like, this is what is making the world shine. Because if there is no mirror, I can't see this mural. And that mirror is our antahkaran, or I just want to say our inside. I don't want to go into the spiritual jargon, man, buddhi, chitta, hankar. I don't want to go into any of that. Understand that that mirror is your inside. Only when that mirror is clean, you're able to see the reflection as is. The difference between a yogi's drishti, a yogi's vision, and our vision is the yogi sees the world as is. We see the world with the surface of the mirror being completely botched up and colored. Sometimes the entire mirror, it has yellow on it. We see the world as yellow. Sometimes the mirror has a bunch of marks here and there. We see that. So always the view of the world, your view, my view of my world depends on how clear my mirror is that's shining the light onto the mural. So this antahkaran, or our inside, is like that mirror. And let's say the mirror is completely clean, shiny, pure. Then the reflection is also beautiful, as is. Then the next step is, Mother says, now, see where this light is coming from on this mirror. It is actually coming from the sun. That sun is Paramatma. The reflection of the sun on the mirror is Jivatma. Or these are all, remember, this is all spiritual jargon. This is for our intellectual understanding. To understand that that reflection on the mirror is nothing but the sun itself, the sun's reflection is falling on the mirror, is Aham Brahmasmi. That Aham, or the I, that feeling that I am alive, that feeling is the light. That I comes from the Paramatma, comes from the Lord, comes from the Divine Mother, falls on the mirror of our inside, and then gets reflected onto the world. The purer, the cleaner our inside, the purer and cleaner the world appears as is. As is. And that's what even Swami says in one of the videos. Truth is what is, not what should be. The mirror prevents us from seeing the world as is, because the mirror itself is dirty, has patches here and there, is colored. So the entire sadhana is to clean this mirror. How to clean this mirror? First, drop off your conditioning. You know, I would say the first thing is seek refuge. As you seek refuge, like how it happened with Ramakrishna Paramahansa, that one thought of seeking refuge through the snowball effect took such a massive form in the mind that the thought of Paramatma completely cleaned the mirror. Then he was able to see the reflection very clearly. And in one of the poems, Ram Prasad Sen says that, "O soul, let us just be with the mother, just you and me, just soul and the mother. Let us not take the world with us. Let us not allow anyone. Let us just be all alone with the mother." And then he says, all right, if you want, let's take the tongue for the company. Only the tongue is allowed. So the tongue can revel in saying Kali, Kali, Kali. The tongue can revel in saying mother. Now think about it. You're leaving the reflection aside. You're only taking the reflection. The reflection in the mirror is now looking at the sun. The soul is now with the mother. So Ram Prasad Sen is saying, let us leave everything. Let us not take anyone. Let us go secretly to the mother. Just the soul and the mother. And if you want, we'll take the tongue with us. So it can keep chanting Ma, 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 Ma. So this Dridrishya Vivek, if you see, it is the light coming from the sun, going on the mirror, falling on the wall. The wall is like the body. The mirror is the mind. And when the mirror is clean, empty, it shows the reflection of Paramatma. And that is Jiva Brahmaikya. When Jivatma realizes. And to realize that, you don't have to break the body or do anything. You just have to realize. That's true knowing. Not reading a book and say, I know now. True knowing is when you experience your soul as the reflection of her. So, sorry. That's the true knowing. So this is what Dattatreya was explaining Parshuram, saying the light is identifying itself with the wall. And then it's saying, oh, I'm the wall, I'm the wall, I'm the wall. Similarly, the light or the I, the feeling of I, the I am, aham, is falling on the body, is enlightening the body. And now I'm saying, I'm the body. But deep down, I know my truest nature is Shashwat, is eternal. Deep down, I know I am eternal. But that eternal feeling, the I'm superimposing on my body. And I'm hoping that my body, the body, will be forever. Right? Which is why aging hurts. Because deep down, the eternal you knows that I'm eternal. But the I in you, the truest nature of yours, has now identified with the body that's aging and going through the changes. Hence, aging is very painful. You want to be like you, how you were. In your mind, you feel like I'm still the same, but the body has changed. The body is changing, it will change. Hence, whenever you are unhealthy, you feel sad because the truest you knows I'm beyond this body, I'm beyond these changes. But then, because of the association, because of the identification with the body, you start feeling sad. Oh, now I'm unhealthy. I used to be so healthy. Now I'm unhealthy. Similarly, if you identify yourself with the mirror, then that's the mind, right? Even the mind, it used to be a certain way, now it's a certain way. Even the bhavas, even the sentiments in the mind keep changing. Some days you feel like, yes, I want to meditate, I want to do something. Some days you feel like, oh, this is one big pile of BS. So even the mind, the thoughts keep changing. Some days you have non-judgmental thoughts, some days you have extremely judgmental thoughts. So these thoughts in the mind also keep changing. So it is when you start increasing your awareness. When the person says, wait a second, I'm done looking at the mural, let me see where is this mural being shown from? What is shining on this mural? Then you look at your mind. Then you understand, wait a second, there is something happening beyond the mind that is watching what's happening in the mind. And that is me. This is how you come back, Parshuram. This is how you travel back. And Dattatreya says, the power of Paramatma, the power of the Divine Mother that makes you look only at the world is called avidya. That is called Maya. And the same power of Paramatma, the same power of the Divine Mother that says, now, okay, I know you are in my refuge. You want to come back? I'll help you turn around. And then she turns you around. Then she first shows you your own mind, the vrittis, the tendencies, and the bhakti, the purity of thinking about her. Then slowly brings us to the next step of realizing that my soul is in fact a reflection of her. I am truly a child of hers. And that's how you go back. But being used to looking at the mural, being continuously used to looking at the mural, which is of names and forms. You see a red patch, you say, oh, this is a red color. You see a tree in the mural, you say, that's a tree. Because you are so used to looking at the outside world of names and forms. Mother says, now I will assume a name and form, a divine name and a divine form. So you may meditate on that name and form to detach from this name and form. So which is why Lalita Sahasranam starts with Roop Dhyan. That's why we have all these gods. You take up anyone and you meditate on that form. If you don't believe in God, meditate on your Guru's form, because that itself has become divine. The body that has completely identified the Atman with the Paramatman, that Jivan Mukt, is the Guru. You can meditate. But remember, to detach from this world of names and forms, you have to attach to a divine name and a divine form. That's why in most of the poems of Ram Prasad Sen, he says, meditate on the form of Kali. He continuously brings her Roop Dhyan, saying, you are the daughter of the mountains. You have a stone heart. You don't listen to me. Or he says that, you are stepping on the heart of your own husband. He brings this form, that Mother Kali's form, you cannot forget. Why are you looking at me with those red eyes? Don't look at me with those red eyes. He says, your mundmala is not going to scare me. All these arms that you have around your waist, they're not going to scare me. The blood that is dripping from the head you're holding doesn't scare me. It is not to say that, yes, he's scared. He's bringing the Roop Dhyan into his poems. And then at the end, he says, I'm just going to say Kali, 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 and I'm going to reach you. Because we are looking at the mural of names and forms, we have to hold on to the divine name and divine form. Then she says, now you're ready to move ahead. within. You're ready to move within further. Then she says, now go to the subtler realms. Now, yes, from my meditation on my form, chanting of my name, you have acquired certain amount of purity. Now start working on your tendencies. Start doing some self-reflections. Be astute in observing your inside. How is your inside? Constantly observe. And through so and so, she finally takes you to the point thing. Now do you see? I alone am. Don't roam around in this world. Don't let your awareness get stuck in the world. Be with me. Be with me. I shall reveal everything to you. But by then you are so helplessly in love with her, you're only with her. You're only chanting her names, you're only thinking about her, your thoughts are filled with her. But this requires nirantar, dirgha abhyas, constant practice, constant practice. All this comes like a feather floating in the air to the one who is immersed in devotion. This is intense practice for the one who doesn't have devotion. Seek devotion. Seek her refuge. There is nothing she cannot give. There is nothing. So, he says, Dattatreya Maharaj says to Parshuram, Parshuram, not just this birth, so many births before this, you have identified yourself as the body. The bhavana. Bhavana is constant thinking, is bhavana. Constantly you have thought, I'm the body, I am this, I'm this, I'm this. It's not going to go away in one go. It's going to take some time. Continuously keep practicing. Keep constantly thinking. There is something beyond this body. Go step by step further back. Once your awareness is to a point that, wait, there is something happening in my mind. What am I thinking? How am I feeling? What am I feeling? Is what I'm thinking in my control? Can I just drop it? Because yes, there is someone else who is noticing what I'm thinking. So if you have access to the power to monitor what's going on in your mind, use that power. Because constantly thinking of Divine Mother, who is infinite, constantly thinking of Sat Chit Anand, that is infinite, makes the mind infinite. And that's what expansion of consciousness is. Identifying with the mind, identifying with the changing world makes us finite, makes our consciousness constricted, makes us feel fearful, makes us feel worried. But as and when the mind starts getting filled with the infinite, with the thoughts of the Divine Mother, your consciousness starts expanding. And through that expanded consciousness, Mother's energy flows. And that's what is described in Saundarya Lahari as Sruti Jhari, Chaitanya Sruti Jhari, like a fountain of bliss, like a fountain, the Chit Shakti, the storehouse of energy within you. It just flows like a fountain. All this was explained to Parshuramji Maharaj by Dattatreya. And then Dattatreya says, let me first give you a short story before we go to the story of the yogi. He says there was a person, extremely good astrologer. He could predict anything. He had perfected the science. So he perfected the science to the point that one day he said, let me see when is my last moment. And then he says, oh, so-and-so date, so-and-so time, I'm going to be breathing my last. So he calls his son and he says, listen, I have looked at my Jatak, I have looked at my astrology chart, and I have figured out that so-and-so time is going to be my last, and this time, this day, you better know that that's going to be my last. And then I've also predicted that my next life will be so-and-so at so-and-so time, but I'll be born to a pig. So you make sure that you go to so-and-so place at so-and-so time, and that pig that I'm going to be taking the form as is going to have a white patch. You pick up that pig and you kill it right there, because I don't want to be leading the life of a pig. The son says, okay, if you say so, that's what I'll do. So at the predicted time, this person leaves the body. And as predicted, that pig gives birth to these piglets, I think, piglings, whatever, baby pigs. And the son goes and he catches that pig correctly with the white patch. And he's about to just kill that pig. So the pig starts screaming and says, no, don't do it, don't do it. So he says, but father, you told me to make sure to, give you relief from this life. Now you're saying don't do it. So the pig says, now till the time I was in that body, I felt like this body was bad. But now that I'm in this body, oh, I love this body. Don't. Let me just enjoy this body. So Parshuram, the attachment to the body is so deep. It's not going to go away like that. It needs nirantar bhavana. It needs constant attachment to the higher. To detach from the lower, you have to attach constantly to the higher. Hold on to that divine body. Hold on to the divine name. And you will slowly, over a period of time, detach from this avidya saying, I am the body. And then he says, now I'll tell you the story. I hope we have time. Now I'll tell you the story of a great yogi. His name was Tangan Rishi. That Tangan Rishi was in meditation. While he was in meditation, a bunch of soldiers with the horse, the king was performing the Ashwamedh Yagya, and the horse was let loose. Wherever the horse went, that land would be conquered, unless the king or anyone from that land invited that horse to battle. So these soldiers and this horse were going. They looked at the Rishi meditating and they didn't even take account. They're like, whatever. And they kept going. The son of the Rishi was also a great yogi. He saw this. He witnessed how these soldiers took no respect, did not even wait to bow down to him. And this disrespect really enraged the son of the Rishi. And he says, what is this behavior? You look at a Satpurush, you look at a Jnani, you don't even bow down. What kind of disrespect is this? So with this, he catches that horse, the son of the Rishi. He catches that horse and he says, now I'm taking that horse. If you want to fight, fight. And of course, he drags the horse and the entire group of soldiers into a rock. And he just places them inside a rock. And the Senapati, one of the soldiers, I can't think of English names today, the soldier fights him. And then he realizes this yogi is he's doing some kind of magical stuff. Let me just run away. So he runs back to the kingdom and he says, listen, I came across the son of a Rishi. He took the entire army along with the horse into a rock. He said, what do you mean inside a rock? Yes, I saw this. He dragged them all inside a rock. And I tried to fight him, but then I got scared and I ran away. So I'm not going back because this guy is magical. He has magical powers. So then the king talks to his brother, whose name is Mahasen. He says, Mahasen, go back to that place. Reverentially bow down to the yogi. Offer your namaskars and do not be disrespectful. These yogis, they look like they have renounced the world. They have nothing. But the powers they have, you and I can never fathom. So go there, reverentially sit down, bow down to this yogi and find out what mistake did the soldiers do, and if they could just return the horse, because if the Vasant Ritu, if this season passes, then we cannot perform this yagya, and we are performing this yagya to please Lord Vishnu, and we don't want to cause any problems. So Mahasen says, okay, I'll go. So he goes there and he sees this amazingly powerful yogi sitting down in deep meditation, steady as a rock. He sits there in front of him, bows down to him, extremely reverentially, bows down and sits there with folded hands. Mahasen. The son observes this and he's very pleased. He's very pleased by this person's devotion. He says, this is the behavior, this is the sanskar that one should have. You see a jnani and you feel like, I don't even want to bow down. That's not acceptable. So he goes, the son of the rishi goes and he says, Mahasen, I'm very happy with your devotion. My father has been in samadhi for eons. You won't even know how long. But I can help you. Tell me, what is it that you desire? He says, listen, I'm here to speak to your father. I'll wait for your father to open his eyes. The son says, listen, this is not possible. My father is in samadhi. And it's not like he just went into samadhi. He has been in samadhi for thousands and thousands of years. Something your logical mind will not understand. When the mind, he's explaining, when the mind becomes completely filled with the divine name and divine form, the mind assumes the divine name and the divine form and becomes infinite. When the mind is filled with the divine name and divine form, either through chanting or meditation, the mind, having become that divine name or the divine form, assumes infinity, becomes infinite. When it becomes infinite, the Shakti, the power of Paramatma, flows through that mind into the body. And that body remains young, remains as is for thousands and thousands of years. Something you will not understand because you don't have experiential knowledge of yoga. Hence, let me tell you, it's not like he's about to come out and have his afternoon meal. It's not like that. But of course, Mahasen couldn't grasp any of this. Neither are we. We just can understand, okay, it makes sense theoretically. We have no clue. So Mahasen said, no, I'll just wait. And seeing his devotion to his father, the Rishiputra or the son of the yogi said, okay, your devotion has truly moved me. Only I can wake him up, and I'm going to try to wake him up now. So he sat down in meditation and he did withdrawal from the senses, which he had practiced since birth. He had practiced because he was born to this yogi. He had practiced from childhood, withdrawing his senses. So he withdrew his senses. Then he withdrew his mind into the source. And from there, he came out as his astral body and entered into his father's. And there he woke his father up. He called his father. And then his father came into this external world. He opened his eyes. Then he came back to his body. As soon as he opened his eyes, through his Divya Drishti, he saw it all. And he looked at his son and he said, my dear son, anger destroys tapas. We are living in the kingdom of this king. We should not create any kind of obstacle to the functioning or to the ruling of this king. So please go and give back the horse and the army. What you did is wrong. The anger that you had for the disrespect that they showed created will destroy your tapas. First, return them. As soon as he heard that, the young boy, just with his hand, pulled out the horses and the army. And he said, you guys can go back. So Mahasen said to the army, you guys go back, I will come later. And then he fell at the feet of the father, the yogi. And he said, what is this? You in Samadhi for thousands of years. Your kid going in, waking you up. You waking up, knowing everything. And the way, with the sweetness with which you instructed your son and the way he agreed, all this, I'm extremely impressed. Not only impressed, I'm begging you to teach me all this. Tell me more. What is all this? How did all this happen? To this, the yogi replied, "O prince, there was a time when I was a great ruler. This entire Prithvi, the entire earth belonged to me. I was a Chakravarti Samrat. I was a great king. With the association of wise, with the grace of my Guru, I one day realized, through my sadhana, I realized that the light that's on the wall, on the mirror, is truly that of the Divine Mother. Once I realized that, I wanted to worship her. By then, my sons had become prince. They were at age to take over. So I gave up my kingdom to my children, to my sons, and I moved to this forest to be in constant communion with the Divine Mother. My wife was extremely devoted to me. She too had learned all this yoga sadhana through the Guru. She was also a great yogini. She also accompanied me to the forest, and we both led many, many, many years meditating on the Divine Mother. One day when I was in meditation, when I was in deep meditation, my wife, who was truly a great yogini herself, looked at me, and at that moment she experienced love and attraction towards me, because we were husband and wife. At that moment, for a few seconds, she imagined some intimate moments with me. But because her mind had completely dissolved in Paramatma, had completely dissolved in Chit Shakti or Mother Divine, the mind was infinite. And the Shakti that was flowing through the mind was infinite. And because of that, that one thought materialized into a baby, into a son. She took that son, put the son in my lap, and she said, I had this one vritti that was holding me back on this earthly realm. But that vritti has now materialized. Now I'm free. So I'm dropping my body and I'm giving this son to you. And she dropped her body. Since then, I have taught my son all the practices of yoga. Being under my tutelage, he has learned all the practices of yoga. And he has perfected this one yoga called Bhavana Yoga. Constant thinking becomes Bhavana. So he said he has perfected Bhavana Yoga. And you see that rock over there? He has an entire universe in that rock. I'll have him show all that to you. And he looked at his son and he said, my dear son, won't you show your world to Mahasen? So the son says, Father, because you instructed, of course, joyfully, I will take him inside and I'll show him. After saying this, the father closed his eyes and went back into his samadhi. The son and Mahasen, the son said, now let me take you inside and let me show you this world. And he entered the rock. But of course, Mahasen bumped into the rock and he said, wait a second, I can't enter. So then, of course, he came back. He said, oh, I forgot. You can't do this. All right, do me a favor. Sit down here in this cave. He made him sit down in a cave. And then he entered in his astral body. Through his astral body, he entered into Mahasen's astral body, picked up the astral body of Mahasen. And he said, now, with my Sankalp Shakti, I'll give you another body that will cover your astral body. And then we will go inside the rock. Through this prakriya, and this is all for us to just be entertained and know, because we don't know A, B, or C of this entire prakriya. This is just for the sake of storytelling. So they entered the rock. Once they entered the rock, Mahasen was appalled. He saw planets, galaxies inside this one rock. For a second, Mahasen thought, I'm going to fall into this deep abyss. What is this? There is no ground. He says, don't worry. This entire world I have created through my bhavana. You know, my father, when he started talking to me when I was young, he would tell me how he was a great king. And every time I would hear the stories of him being a great king, I would always tell him, but father, I also want to be a king. I also want to be a king. So my father said, why do you want to be a king in this world? And again, go fight for your kingdom, have battles. Why do you want to deal with all that? Go create your own world. Through your yoga, create your own world and be the king of that world. The world will be how you want it to be. No one from outside can dictate how your world needs to be. You create your own world. So I created my entire world inside this rock. I have rivers, I have mountains, I have these galaxies, I have beautiful palaces. I have, I have many seasons inside. So he took Mahasen to a mountain, which was like Kailash mountain. And Mahasen said, oh, it's a little freezing here. He said, all right, let me take you to a different area. And that way he took him beautifully all around. And then he says, how were you able to do this? How were you able to create this inside the rock? And Mahasen says, the son of the Rishi said, there is something called bhavana. The difference in your bhavana and my bhavana is, your bhavana is asat. Because you are associated with that which is continuously changing. You think you are the body, you think you are the mind. Your bhavana has no value because it is asat. But the moment you start having satya bhavana, you start cultivating, constantly attaching with the sat that's within you, then your bhavana starts getting the power of satya. Satya being the divine mother or the chit shakti, the sankalp shakti. Paramatma's sankalp shakti is divine mother. When you worship her, you start building sankalp shakti in you. And then you reach a point wherein one thought and that thought materializes because your mind has dissolved completely in the chit shakti. So any thought emerging on the surface of your mind materializes instantly. And that is the Satyalok. In Satyalok, no matter what thought, it materializes. But to reach that Satyalok, you have to create Nirantar Satya Bhavana. That is what my father taught me. Through yoga, he taught me how to be attached to the Satya, how to be one with the truth at all times. That is yoga. And I perfected this Bhavana yoga because I wanted to be a king. So I created a Bhavana that I am a king of this universe. There are galaxies, there are palaces, there are rivers, there are mountains, there are animals, there are flowers, fruits. In my world, I am the king. And this bhavana, because of the constant communion with the Divine Mother, Chit Shakti, I have manifested it. You see it all. Mahasen was appalled. He said, wow, this is amazing. And then he said, now let's go back. Let's go back into my world. I said, okay, if you're done, let's go back. Before that, the son was explaining to Mahasen. He said, I have decided space, I have decided time in this rock. I have told that, okay, my bhavana is 100,000 years, earthly years, will be one day here. That is my bhavana, I have created this. And I said, if I have to travel from one galaxy to another, it will take me 1 second. I have created my own parameters here. Because it's my bhavana, I'm free because I'm the king. I can come up with any bhavana I like. So I created this world. He said, oh, I see. He said, now let's go back. So then when they exited out of that rock, everything had changed. Everything looked differently. There was no Rishi. There was no Kangan Rishi who was meditating. There was nothing. Everything was different. So then Mahasen asked the son, he said, why does this all look different? The son laughed. He said, remember I told you, one day in my rock is 100,000 years on earth. So everything has changed. Oh, Prince, everything has changed. He said, what about my body? He said, your body, I have preserved it through my yogic powers, through my Sankalp Shakti. So I'll put you back in there. So he puts him back in there. Then as soon as Mahasen opens his eye, he says, you know what? I need to go back to my kingdom. I need to go see my brother, my family. That son of the Rishi starts laughing. He said, where do you want to go? They're all dead. 100,000 years have passed. They have been dead. Your kingdom is now a deep forest with many wild animals in there. All your brothers, their wives, their children, your family, they're all dead. When Mahasen hears that, he is overtaken by grief and he starts crying bitterly. He says, oh, my brother, oh, my family, my children. He starts crying bitterly. When the son of the Rishi sees that, he says, why are you crying? He says, my brother is dead. My family is dead. I'm crying. Then the son of the Rishi laughs and he says, is crying like this your ancestral duty? Is that what you guys do? Is that what you guys do? He says, what are you talking about? I lost my brother. That's why I'm crying. So then the Rishi, the yogi, the yogi's son says, but you know, your ancestors also died before your brother, before your parents, before your grandparents. What about, do you cry for them? Oh, no, I don't. I'm not crying for them. So then for who are you crying? For my brother. But there was a time, you know, your brother was not there. Your ancestors were there. How come you're not crying for them? He said, what are you doing, Mahasen? You're crying for that which is changing. All this I showed you. All the things that my father explained to you. All these things about the mind dissolving. All these things about you are not this body. You're not this mind. After listening to all this, you're crying. So Mahasen was like, wait a second, what's happening? So then Mahasen was instructed by the sun. He says, that sunlight, that sun, which lightens up your inside, your senses, and the outside world, that alone, that Tripura, that is Divine Mother. Hold on to her. You hold on to the drishya that keeps changing. The world keeps changing. You hold on to your own body. It is healthy today. It is not healthy tomorrow. One day you are young. The other day you are old. Then you hold on to your mind. It keeps changing too. Today you feel this way. Tomorrow you feel the other way. Why do you want to hold on to that which constantly keeps changing? You will have no hope in hell. Oh Mahasen, hold on to Tripura. Hold on to Mother Divine, the great Mother Divine that lightens up the entire drishya. Hold on to the drik. Listening to this instruction, Mahasen held on to the yogi's feet. He said, now, instruct me. Instruct me so I may come out of this grief. He didn't say, you are crazy now, leave me alone now, I'm just going to go. He said, no. He said, give me this knowledge. I agree. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever I knew I was a king. I knew I was the brother of the king. I knew I had a kingdom. I knew I had a wife. All these things I know is asat. Now, instruct me on what is the truth. It is, again, going back to Ramakrishna Paramahansa's story, the default state is, I don't know. When you arrive at the point, I don't know, the entire universe starts pouring in that cup. The cup needs to be clean. The cup needs to be empty. When the cup is empty and the cup is cleaned, the universe pours the truth in it. So Mahasen too held on to the feet of that young kid. He says, teach me. I don't know. I'm crying over all these people who are dead. I'm crying over these changes. How foolish am I? Instruct me in this knowledge. Take me to the truth. And then slowly, over a period of time, with practice, over a period of time with practice, nirantar, constant thinking, nirantar bhavana, constantly attaching to the higher, Mahasain detached from the lower. Lower or higher, again, intellectual jargon, spiritual jargon. Constantly detaching from the drishya, he got situated in the drik. Constantly detaching from the perceived, he became established in the perceiver. The perceiver being the reflection of the Divine Mother. A pot with water in it shows the reflection of the sun. But one need not break the pot or empty the water to realize that that reflection of the sun is from the outer sun. It's just realization. Hence, before realization, chop wood, fetch water. After realization, chop wood, fetch water. What changed? The only thing that changed is you realize who you are. You discover your own truth. It starts with devotion. It starts with devotion. It ends with devotion. All this is possible when Her Majesty so desires. So instead of scrambling through books, instead of scrambling through lectures, hold on to her feet. Seek her refuge. द्वार दया का जब तू खोले, पंचम स्वर में गूंगा बोले, अंधा देखे लंगड़ा चल कर पहुँचे काशी रे. It's only when the grace of the Divine Mother starts flowing, you will turn around. If not, the mural will have you captivated. The joys, the pleasures of the world will have you captivated. No matter how much you try, you cannot turn. It's when she pulls you. That's why she holds the pash in her hand. The same pash she ties around you and shows you the world. The same pash she holds, the pash is the lasso. The same pash she puts around you and turns you around. It has to come from seeking refuge. So with that, this timing is perfect. So with that, we will start the Q&A. We have one message. Any questions, comments? You can type up or you can just unmute yourself. Oh, great intellectual people. You must have some questions. Anything anyone wants to add? Yes, Lakshmi, go ahead.
Usually you say in a nutshell, what is it? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Lakshmi. Go ahead.
Usually you say in a nutshell, what is the sadhana you want us to do for the week? So could you say that?
Continue with the self-reflections 3 times a day, 10 a.m., 3 p.m., 7 p.m.
Okay.
During these reflections, see what kind of thoughts you're harboring. If the thoughts are about people, their behavior, their shortcomings, you're stuck in the mural. At least trace your steps back to what's happening within me. What am I thinking? How am I feeling? If you have already traced back to the point that your constant awareness is within, then improve the quality of your thoughts first. You cannot be thoughtless to begin with. What am I thinking? How am I feeling? What am I thinking? Constantly see, what am I thinking about? Are you thinking about the Divine Mother? Are you listening about her? Are you chanting her names? With even if without devotion, at least are you trying to chant? How are you feeling? Are you feeling sad about something? Are you feeling nervous? Are you feeling anxious? Can you allow yourself to feel what you're feeling without negating it? You know, whatever we talked about in depression to devotion, mind and divine, are you practicing? And most important, are you thinking about the Divine Mother? Are you remembering her? Are you in her sweet remembrance? Either you are with the world or you are within you in your own world, like that the Rishi's son had his own world. Can you create that bhavana that, yes, my world is my mother, Shri Mata, my world, my mother. That's it. More and more and more, we have to just create the bhavana. So, this entire chapter was about the power of constant thinking. What can constant thinking bring you? It can make you infinite. So, because we are in the habit of constantly thinking, think about the Divine Mother. Because we are stuck in the realm of names and forms, meditate on the form of the Divine Mother. With eyes open, eyes closed, think about her form. Or if you are not into the Divine Mother, think about Swamiji. If you're not into Swamiji, think about Sri Hari. Think about someone, some divine form, some divine name. If you're all about Sri Ram, constantly Ram, 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 Ram. Think about what's the form of Sri Ram. Think about the bow he holds on to. Think about the way he stands. Listen about Sri Ram. Whatever it is, whichever divine name and form attracts you, fill your mind with that name, fill your mind with that form. And then the mind will start, the antakaran will start becoming purer and purer. And only in that pure antakaran, more devotion will rise. More devotion rises, more it becomes pure. More pure, more devotion. And just keep doing it. And that's what Narad Bhakti Sut Naradji says, devotion is the only sadhana that is as sweet in the sadhana avastha and the siddha avastha. What a siddha experiences in devotion is the same sweetness a sadhak experiences during sadhana. So focus on filling your mind totally with the thoughts and the form of your Isht. That's what reflections need to show. But of course, everyone is at a different stage. First, evaluate your thoughts. What are you constantly thinking about? What are you constantly feeling? Filter that out. Then slowly, not, and these things happen together. Sometimes you're caught thinking, sometimes you're doing some japa, sometimes you're thinking about your Isht, sometimes you're worrying. Initially, it's all a mixed up scenario. Slowly, it filters out. Slowly, Shanay, Shanay, Parve. This happens slowly, slowly. Be patient with yourself, love yourself adequately, and do this slowly.
Okay. The Ish could be Raghavendra also.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Meditate on the form of Raghavendra Swami. All day, call out to Raghavendra Swami. Have him guide you. Have him guide your antakarna. It could be
Thank you.
any Divya Purush. Yes. Most welcome.
Thank you.
reminding again and again this potent combination we have: human life, Sadguru Sangat, someone, an avatar Purush like Swami. Our logical mind will never fathom what Swami is. An avatar Purush like Swami, a human birth, and this longing may not be a burning desire, but at least this longing. What a potent combination. That itself is grace. Put it to good use. Work hard to fill your mind with your Isht. Oh, it's such a sweet feeling to think about your Isht, to flow in the love of your Isht. Why you want to keep yourself away from this sweet emotion? So I guess no more questions. So we'll call the meeting done. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shantihi Shantihi Shantihi. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Narayani Namostute. So I will end the meeting here. I will see you back, if not Friday, next Sunday.